The client had arrived 15 minutes earlier to see the boss, but JD was still out on a job. The woman seemed impatient. She reminded me of, a cat. I tried to entertain her, but I could see she had other things on her mind. When JD arrived, I was making the woman some chamomile tea to calm her nerves. JD carried the cup into the client. He greeted her and she thanked him for the tea, but she seemed too distressed to drink it. JD opened his investigative agency after retiring from the Secret Service. We're doing very well. Everyone knows that dogs are really good at keeping secrets. Cookies? He offered. Maybe later, she said. Then JD asked, "How may we help you?" She said that the famous Rothchild ruby ring, a gift from her husband, had been stolen. "You're sure the ring was stolen? Did you file a police report?" JD asked. "Yes," she sobbed, "but the insurance company won't pay until there's been an investigation." JD brought the client a tissue and offered her his sympathy. She gave him a list of the last people she had been in contact with while wearing the ruby. As JD studied the list, I watched the woman. I didn't trust her, but why? JD said he'd be in touch and showed the client out. "My name's Sydney, and I document JD's cases." I've also helped him solve some of the more baffling ones. That night, we started working the case. Detectives have to snoop or they'd never discover anything. Suspect number 1 wasn't at home. After looking in the window, JD told me that the house was empty. However, the front door was unlocked, so we went in. Technically, that's not breaking and entering. I started searching. JD saw that the key was still in the lock. Someone must have left in a hurry. He closed the door and put the key on the table. That ought to confuse the suspect. JD searched the library while I tried the dining room. I was nosing around when I heard a sound. The door was opening. It's not good to be caught snooping. I had to do something, quick. Oops, JD's gonna kill me. A face. You think I did that? No way. Next day, I was catching up on my reading. JD had been out all morning, keeping our second suspect under surveillance. The phone rang. It was JD. He said the suspect was on to him and he wanted my help. I started following the suspect. When he saw me, I pretended to be a dog looking for squirrels. J.D. took over again. We were using the old two-tail ploy. The day was hot as blazes, but that can't stop detectives. J.D. leaned against the wall like he had nowhere to go. I pretended to be reading a newspaper. As the suspect walked by, J.D. quickly tagged on. The guy didn't seem to be going anywhere, so J.D. hopped over to me to discuss our next move. But I was hot and hungry. Maybe I could mooch some food from those people. The next day, J.D. tailed suspect number 3 to the train station. When the guy wasn't looking, J.D. checked his carry-on bag. No ruby. The guy looked suspicious, but to a detective, most people do. We weren't having much luck, so J.D. went out to contact his sources. He also talked to people in the neighborhood. People trust dogs and tell them things they wouldn't tell another person. And J.D. really had a way with the ladies. The pieces were starting to fit. While J.D. checked the insurance company, I went to the client's house for more evidence. I didn't see her around, so I let myself in. What was this thing she had about cats? The answer was crystal clear. Back at the office, I gave J.D. my report. The client looked as nervous as a rookie cat burglar. J.D. showed her evidence that she had sold the ring. He said she had reported it stolen so she could get the insurance money and cash from the sale of the ring. She broke down. She said her husband wouldn't let her have a cat, and that's why she needed the money, to leave her husband so she could get some cats and live on a tropical island. Insurance fraud isn't something the police take lightly. I bet her husband would have let her have a dog.